Hey everyone, welcome back to the Brass Ass Podcast. Yes, I am your host, Suitcase Ace. And you know what? I got a really good one here for you today. I'm going to talk about what every parent and player should know about the upcoming tryouts. Because, with the team tryouts fast approaching, we all hope that all associations will run a thorough and fair selection process. And you know what? This can be a time of happiness or complete disappointment for some families. I know that. There is stress, pressure, and even politics with some associations around the world. Will mistakes be made? Well, only time will tell. But if a process is in place, then truly the mistakes with the associations should be minimalized, right? And of course, there are players and parents who may not be happy with some of the choices that really goes with the territory. And believe it or not, there are a lot of coaches out there, folks, who also dread this time of year because knowing that they will break a young player's heart and that from time to time, they will also get a selection round during tryouts. The majority of the tryouts, folks, I got to tell you something, the process is completed before the on-ice tryouts even begin. And this shouldn't be some dirty little secret, folks. And it's not a negative either. I'll tell you something, what it does, it makes sense. Because if you are a coach and are you really going to rely on a few 1-hour sessions to decide who's on your roster the upcoming season? If you are, then you are a poor coach. Most coaches, folks, will or should have a number of those for sure kids in mind, and 3 or 4 kids in mind for each remaining spot, right? Before on-ice tryouts even begin. The question is how. You're asking how does that happen? Because, tryouts, folks, guess what? Officially started the day each coach was announced. Next year's coaches should now be out watching games all over the place, right? Even going to the team's practices to see the players that are on the current team. They should be, taking and placing phone calls. They should be responding to and sending emails. They should be talking with, the current and incoming coaches to, let's say, establish depth charts, right, etc. That's what's happening right now with the good coaches. Now, next year's coaches should be highly visible folks around the rinks and ready to talk to parents if they come and ask some questions. AAA tryouts, folks, should become invite only. I'll tell you why. This change will not make AAA tryouts, folks, highly restricted, though. It's just meant to prevent, I'll tell you, 50 to say 100 kids from being on the ice for the first couple of tryouts, which is ridiculous and a waste of time and money. All players who the AAA coaches believe are candidates for the team should only be accepted or invited. And those players from the AA and A teams who currently think they may become candidates should simply be told they need additional development time. You got to be honest with the players that are coming out. The coaches may not pick who you think are the best 17 to 20 players, by the way, right? That's because, coaches have to build teams, folks, and that involves a mix of left shots, right shots, offensive and defensive kids, fast kids, grinders, creative, flashy players, and steady, dependable players, right? That's the puzzle you put together, these coaches, when they put the team together, right? They also have to keep, body checking in mind, with the age appropriate, the work ethic in these players, which kid is trending and which kid is coachability. This all goes into the factors in selecting your players. Finally, AAA and AA teams generally have between 100 and 140 events over the course of, let's say, 8 and 9 month season, right? With team chemistry, folks, being a very important component for success. So, listen up now. If you don't think parent behavior, folks, and attitude and player behavior and attitude have a role in selections, guess what? you are mistaken. Don't be the reason your kid doesn't make a team, is what I'm trying to tell you. If you suspect that you may be that crazy parent, folks, and what I got to tell you is advice: calm down and just enjoy the game of hockey. Enjoy your kid playing the game. Coaches and association, I'll tell you, here's another one for you, folks, should develop local talent. These smaller centers, they should stick to their local town as much as they can. I'll tell you why. Most programs should have stated objectives, right? To transform their clubs into elite AAA or AA programs with highly competitive, successful teams at every year, right? At every level. I believe the preference should be to accomplish this with local residents whenever possible, right? If you're trying to build that AA and AAA powerhouse, right? Try to keep the local players in the mix. Most clubs will not become an elite, AA or AAA program overnight either, folks, just by saying so and changing uniforms. Of course not. But they should make the decision to create the environment, and programs which that can happen, right? Make it possible. Because the alternative, right, is just plain stupid. Keep losing your top players, folks, your local players every year. Yeah, year after year, having subsidized time, right, and resources into their development as they're growing up as kids. No thanks. If you're developing these kids at a young age, you got to keep them around, right? Another thing, folks, picking teams is not an exact science. Coaches will make mistakes, and that is the truth. They're not doing it on purpose either, right? But they want to win, is the thing. But maybe they see some potential in a kid versus a kid who may have plateaued. Some kid that was really good when they were a tyke, they come Pee-wee and minor battle, under 14, under 15, they might have already plateaued, right? They're not that kid as they were when they were 8, 9 years old. Maybe they think they can improve the decision making of a kid who can skate and shoot like lightning, right? Maybe it doesn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does work out. It doesn't mean, folks, the coach is an incompetent idiot either, who should be publicly, or anonymously insulted, right? You know what I'm talking about. That coach, he or she, was taking a chance to improve the team, and it just didn't work out. Well, with all this in mind, folks, what should you do to maximize your chances of achieving your goals? Is a huge question. Well, I'll tell you something. If you are a player, right, work hard in games and practices. Do the little things. Be a great teammate who is easy to coach. It's a huge tip I want to give you, right? I'll tell you why, because you never know who's watching. And if you are a parent, be realistic, okay? Truly. If your child is, let's say, a B or an A hockey player, right? Then the chances of them really making that jump to AAA or a strong AA team, right away, the chances are low, right? For me, I've coached AA and very successful teams. I have taken a player from BB to AA, and it's worked out fine, right? So in some cases, it does work out. Target the appropriate level, folks, right? Is what I'm trying to say, and contact the coach, via email, or if you see him or her around the rinks, approach the coach, right? Make sure that they know who your child is and why you think your child is a strong candidate for the upcoming team. And I got another huge tip for y'all, folks, right? Behave yourself, right? Because I'll tell you why. Everyone is watching. If your child is coming over from another association, right, understand that they will usually have to be clearly, noticeably better than the local players in order to make the team. At least that's my primary principles in selecting out-of-town players. You know what? And that is not, right? That is not fair. That is just being human nature, let's say, folks. Folks, yes, I am your host, Suitcase Ace. You've just listened to the Brass Ass Podcast. Enjoy yourself at the upcoming tryouts. Good luck to y'all.